a mindset shift I wish more people knew about before planning their space. Don't waste your square footage on these items, especially if you live in a premium zip code. And even if you don't, in addition to this video uncovering specific items, my goal is to kind of give you a different way to evaluate how your space works for you. I've been following this architect lately on YouTube. His name is Daniel Titchener, and he talks about design through the lens of real estate, how every square foot equates to dollars. Architects are trained to think about their space in a very structural, value focused way. As designers, we're thinking about function and experience. So when you combine those perspectives, this idea really clicks. And it makes so much sense because when you think of space as value, you kind of realize how much of it we give away to things that don't actually serve us. I've been in this season of refinement lately, slowing down, paying attention to what adds ease versus what quietly creates friction. Because the goal of any successful space isn't just to look beautiful, it's to feel authentic and remove sticking points and resistance from your daily life. When a space works with you and not against you, it changes how you move through your day. And that's what I think true luxury really is. It's not about excess, it's about ease. Hi, everyone. I'm Tina, an interior designer who's on a quest to make luxury design accessible for everyone, from observing client tendencies and honestly experimenting in my own home. I've started spotting the kind of the real estate wasting offenders. They are the things that seem like good design, but quietly they chip away at your square footage, time, your mental load, and your money. Today, I'll be sharing the design choices that don't earn their keep and the reasons we fall for them so you can see your space through a more intentional lens and make more informed purchasing decisions. So, item number one, the bar cart. When I first got my own place, I had to have a bar cart. This is like 20 years ago, you guys. It was peak Mad Men. It felt like the ultimate I've made it accessory. And there isn't one sexy movie character who doesn't have a bar cart scene, right? Just look how seductive they are. But after 15 plus years of owning one in my own home after home throughout the years, we finally let it go. We never used it. We never rolled it anywhere, which is the whole point of it. The drinks now live beautifully on the buffet that we've had next to the glasses. They're easier to grab. It's closer to the sink. And I've got about 8 to 10 square feet of my dining room back, which in my house was a real big issue with traffic flow in that space. So the culprit of the bar cart is designing for your fantasy self instead of your current self. Item number two, flimsy storage containers. I have tried them all. I'm like guilty of excess storage containers. I don't know. From handwoven to acrylic to the minimalist ones from the container store. But if it doesn't have internal structure or durability, it's basically a temporary illusion of order. You buy them because they look like control, like they fake control really well. They photograph beautifully, but eventually they warp, they collapse, and they become clutter in prettier clothing. So the culprit on this one is designing for the Pinterest version of your life instead of the one that actually happens. Number three, single duty furniture. I was once obsessed with drink tables. They felt so chic and adult, but in real life, with kids, they were basically little weapons waiting to topple, especially on rugs, especially if you have kids visiting, especially if you have pets running around, etc., etc. Now I prefer side tables that actually anchor a space and serve more than one purpose. Yes, you're doubling or tripling the real estate taken from the drink table, but the added functionality in either storage, like this example here I have in the middle, or being able to house a table lamp, saving space from the space a floor lamp would take, for instance, and more space to place books or a drink on a surface that's at a more accessible height than a coffee table is. Just better use of the dead space on the sides of your living area seating. So the culprit on this one is prioritizing novelty over livability. Number 4, faux plants. So just skip them. They rarely look as good as we hope. I mean, I get the appeal, the idea of no maintenance is pretty seductive, but most faux plants, they don't age well. The surface area and the coloring of them, like they collect dust, they fade, and they make the space feel stagnant. They have that energy to them. Don't you just love this reference image, by the way? There's so many offenders here, but let's try to hone in on the plants for now. Instead, treat your surfaces like gallery space and choose either dried botanicals or sculptural branches or one hardy real plant that actually brings life and energy to the room. They offer more modern, cleaner lines, a silhouette that actually elevates the room, and visual interest rather than just acting as a filler object. And they give the aura of intention. Think of them as natural art pieces you can rotate seasonally. The culprit here is the fear of upkeep disguised as design. Number 5, bright or mismatched trivets and coasters. This one's tiny but mighty. I can't tell you how many gorgeous rooms I've seen undermined by a pile of bright coasters or souvenir trivets from 10 vacations ago. Although they don't take that much physical real estate, they take up an enormous amount of visual and mental real estate and translate to clutter. Swapping them out for elevated coordinating materials makes such a big difference. I like to find accessories that mirror or at least relate to the same color family or materiality as the surface they will be housed on. So, for instance, if it's a walnut table, something like a deep brown marble, copper that has a beautiful patina, or leather add a bit of functional luxury and reduces the visual noise. If it's on a Calcutta marble island, go for travertine beige, onyx, or a matching marble. Luxury doesn't mean sterile, it means curated. Keep the memories, not the visual chaos. The culprit here is over personalization without editing. Number 6, oversized sectionals. I love a cozy lounge as much as anyone, but oversized sectionals can completely throw off a room's balance. They block walkways and they dominate the floor plan and are impossible to repurpose. Instead, opt for a well scaled sofa and 2 chairs, which usually feel more grounded, more luxe, and more social. If you're looking to throw your feet up, find a storage ottoman that can double as additional seating or a larger scale upholstered coffee table ottoman. The culprit here is designing for the fantasy of movie night with 12 people instead of your actual daily flow. Number 7, open shelving, and especially in small kitchens. It's the ultimate Instagram versus reality design choice. It looks amazing for 1 week until real life happens. In small kitchens, especially, you lose precious storage and suddenly your styling place like you're auditioning for a magazine. If you want that airy feeling, opt for glass fronts or lighter cabinets or integrated lighting, but keep your storage. The culprit here is designing for the photo instead of the function. Grade is my last one, and it's about low slung furniture. And I know this might be controversial, but they eat up precious storage opportunities. I have a personal rub with this. I'm gonna go off on a whole another tangent, but in what's often called the blue zone, where people live the longest, they attribute a lot of their vitality to how they move through daily life. So things like sitting closer to the ground, which keeps their core and balance engaged. It's it's a beautiful idea, your environment naturally supporting your health. But in Western interiors, that low to the ground trend, think platform beds, ultra low sectionals, loungy armchairs, it often backfires, especially in homes where every inch counts, which I realize is also the same in Japan, where they're really tight on real estate, but they have a grasp on something we don't, and that is minimalism. And they don't need the storage that us Westerners and our lifestyles require. You lose all that valuable vertical opportunity for concealed storage, proportion, and flow. Low slung furniture can make a space feel visually heavy and functionally limited. You can't tuck baskets, you can't use underbed storage, and you end up compensating with more furniture elsewhere. The culprit here is confusing visual calm with spatial efficiency. There's a difference between breathing room and underutilized room. When we design for how we want to look instead of how we actually live, our homes start working against us. Real luxury isn't about more, it's about alignment. Every square foot should work as beautifully as it looks. If you like this episode, please hit the like button below. It helps with the algorithm. And if you're into seeing more of my design journey as I continue to build my company, behind the scenes footage of projects and tips and tricks on living more luxuriously in your own home, go ahead and subscribe for more. I'm curious what's resonating with you and would love to hear ideas for future episodes. Any questions about the business or my approach down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I'm having a lot of fun with these videos. I'll see you in the next episode.